Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to Southern Miss Sports Today with Coach Jay Hopson, presented by Bancorp South. Golden Eagles are coming off a open date, and they're getting ready to take on the Marshall Thundering Herd for homecoming at the Rock this Saturday. So it should be a great week, a great weekend coming up for the Golden Eagles. But Hop, first of all, didn't have a show last week, but Eagles are coming off that game at LSU and then the open date. Talk first about LSU. Obviously got off to a good start, but not a very good second half.
Right. I think that kind of tells the tale. Certainly I thought we played physical, had a few big plays. They're a dynamic football team. Of course, we've seen that week in and week out. They have big playability, and they certainly, we had a little spurt there in the third quarter. I think we're in about 3.5 minutes. It kind of just got away from us, but you know, we fought hard, and you know, that's something I don't ever worry about this football team doing. But certainly looking forward to moving on past this one and getting into our conference run here the last month of the season.
Football, whether you're playing LSU or Marshall, whoever it is, field position plays such a big role. Early in that LSU game, you had some good field position. We got backed up pretty good in the second half.
Well, yeah, we did, and again, you know, it's certainly again, you know, they had the nice run there, and then all of a sudden, bang, we had a turnover, and then bang, one more, another run, and it just seemed like, you know, it just kind of had about 2 or 3 minutes there where it kind of all went wrong. And against a team like LSU, you know, you can't afford to do that. They're one of the elite teams in college football, and we know, we certainly know we fought them tooth and nail, and you know, it's something, you can take some positives out of it, but certainly you have to live and learn.
Well, open date for the Golden Eagles last week. You practiced last week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You told everybody to get away from it for a few days, kind of recharge the batteries. Now, back on the practice field earlier this week, where was the attention? What were you working on to get ready for Marshall and the stretch run?
Well, John, we took Tuesday was a big fundamental day for us. I think that's something that it's good to have an open date in middle of October, because it's kind of your last really chance to work a lot of fundamentals. And then Wednesday and Thursday we had a little bit more Marshall emphasis practices. Gave them Friday and Saturday, which is kind of status quo for me. That's what I've always liked doing, and we know we got to go to work this week.
You got back on the field a couple of days ago, getting ready for Marshall. Right. Was that more about Marshall, or still some sort of back to the basic type stuff?
No, this week has all been Marshall. We're back to a game week, and that's again, that open date is probably the only time that you're going to be able to really concentrate on fundamentals.
Marshall is a ball club that has been really good in this league the last few years. Struggling a little bit this year, but they've played Louisville and Pittsburgh. They've played some awfully good people so far this year. When you watch them on video, what sort of stands out about Doc Holliday's ball club?
Well, we always know that's a tough opponent coming into town. I mean, that's the reality with Marshall. You know, certainly they're a team that you know, offensively do a lot. You know, they really do. They make you work, and defensively, they're a football team that is aggressive. You know what I'm saying? They'll kind of give you a few different looks and just try to mess with you a little bit. But they're a football team that has our utmost respect. We've got to be ready for them, and we know we got a great football team coming in there Saturday.
They lost last week to a rapidly improving Charlotte ball club, but I know if I'm Marshall, boy, they had the ball in Charlotte territory quite a bit, just weren't able to get many points.
Yeah, they had one going in at the one and fumbled right there as a touchback. They had a couple of chances there toward the end of the game. You know, definitely they were on the plus side of the field, and had a touchdown, I think a holding on a touchdown that was called back. So had a few things not go their way there, and you know, just Charlotte came out with the W. Homecoming
is always a special occasion. A lot of folks, maybe the only time they come back to the alma mater, so you have a great crowd here, I know, on Saturday. But homecoming is kind of neat. You have some former players that will come back. It'll be important to these guys that play for you now.
No question. It's always, homecoming is always a special occasion. You see a lot of former players and a lot of former alumni. Everybody's around campus. It gives us an energy. We need that energy. You know, I think our fans have been fantastic, and it's just been great to go out into the Rock with the enthusiasm that we've had this season. And we need that. We need that 12th man. And certainly that's something we're counting on Saturday.
And it's been a great, so far this year, really been a great turnout by our fans. They have created that great atmosphere that we're used to at the Rock.
It really has. You know, we've been almost at 30,000 for 3 straight weeks. I mean, 3 straight games at home. Certainly we want to eclipse that this Saturday, but it's just a fun environment, and our guys really appreciate it. The coaches appreciate all the support, and is something, we feel like gives us a little bit of juice, and it's going to take everybody in this journey, and so we certainly need you out there on Saturday.
Well, homecoming coming up for the Golden Eagles this Saturday against the Marshall Thundering Herd. All kinds of things going on. Let's spend a few moments with Jerry DeFatta from the Alumni Association to talk about Homecoming 2016.
Well, homecoming is one of the most exciting parts of the year for the Alumni Association and really for the university as a whole. It's an opportunity for people from all across the country to come back to Southern Miss and to celebrate our football program, to celebrate our academics, and just to really celebrate all the positive things that are taking place at Southern Miss. Well, homecoming is a huge event, and it takes a lot of coordination from a lot of different departments on campus to make it happen. And really a lot of the planning and preparation start back in the summer when the preliminary discussions take place. We put together a group of people who really help to make this event happen across campus. Representatives from the Student Government Association. Obviously athletics plays a key role in what takes place. We bring in people from parking management, the Alumni Association, union and programs, and a lot of departments on campus that have throughout the year expressed interest in hosting some type of event on homecoming. So we get together, and the first thing is try to put together a calendar to make sure that people aren't really scheduled on top of one another, and try to carve out time for everybody to have the events that really will benefit their group of alumni or students. And once that's together, the next part is really promoting those things. The students start promoting elections, we start promoting our golf tournament, we promote Hall of Fame and our awards luncheon, and then other departments on campus promote their reunions. I know the School of Music this year is hosting a really big reunion that they're excited about. So it takes a lot of coordination to put together an event that has as many moving parts as homecoming does. But we're fortunate to have a lot of really good campus relationships, and people work really hard to make sure that this weekend can be successful for everyone.
Go Eagles! Go Eagles! Go Eagles! Go Eagles! Go Eagles! Go Eagles! Go Eagles!
Well, we would love for all of our alums to come back for every game. That'd be phenomenal. But the reality is about half of our alumni live outside of the state of Mississippi, and some of those live far away, and it makes it challenging for them to come out for every game. And so homecoming is typically the date that people circle on their calendars. They try to find an opportunity to get together with their friends, and so you see a lot of classmates that might get together one time a year, and it might be here at homecoming. And so we're happy to be able to facilitate that and to provide an environment where people can come and celebrate the spirit of Southern Miss. And even if it's just one time a year, really just come and enjoy what's taking place here on our campus, because there are some phenomenal things taking place here at Southern Miss. Obviously, if you're coming in town for homecoming, there's a lot that takes place here on our campus. On Friday afternoon, there's Live at 5 downtown in the historic Hattiesburg area. Just a really exciting and family-friendly event. There'll be food and drinks and usually a band there. So that's a lot of fun. It's an event that's really taken off in our community. So I would encourage fans to go by there Friday evening. Obviously, we'll have Friday night at the Fountain to celebrate our football team and really get our team excited about the game on Saturday. And then, we're expecting great weather on Saturday so that people can tailgate. There's so many areas on our campus to tailgate now that's just really transformed over the last few years with the addition of Spirit Park. Obviously, the Centennial Lawn and kind of the Danforth Chapel area are really positive, really exciting spots for people to tailgate. So all you got to do to be involved this weekend is load the car up, come down, get your tickets, and it just should be a great weekend here at Southern Miss.
You're watching Southern Miss Sports Today with Jay Hopson. Brought to you by Bancorp South, right where you are. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling. The City of Hattiesburg, a proud sponsor of Southern Miss Athletics. UPS, visit ups.com/solvers to find out more.
taste the feeling.
And we're back on Southern Miss Sports Today with Coach Jay Hopson, presented by Bank Corp South. Well, as you know by now, each week we like to focus on one of the Golden Eagles seniors, and this week it's a guy that's played a lot of football for the Golden Eagles, senior center Cameron Tom. And Hop, here's a guy who's started over 40 consecutive ball games for the Golden Eagles, just kind of quietly goes about his business, but he's as important to this offensive football team and to the football team as anybody.
He really is, and Cam is that all-around student athlete. He's a young man that certainly is our go-to guy up front, our kind of nucleus, if you would, and he's a guy that actually does so much leading our front, and he's a guy that in the classroom, on the field, in the community, he's a guy that wins in all three phases, something we talk about here at Southern Miss, but just an outstanding football player, and an outstanding person.
People would probably be surprised how much he does when he's up there at center. I think a lot of people think you just snap the football, but he's calling out protections, he's pointing out different guys. He's kind of the quarterback of that offensive line.
He is, there's no question, and that's something that you got to have. You got to have a center that certainly not only a physical, good football player, but also a guy that mentally sets the table for you, and Cam does a great job of that.
And it's hard to anymore in college football. I mean, he's been a starter since his first year really playing for the Golden Eagles.
Very rare, especially at offensive line. That's always a tough position to come in and start. So that gives you an idea of his capability. I mean, Cam's a guy that can handle it. Not a lot of freshmen coming out of high school can handle that. Two positions, the quarterback position and the offensive line. Those are two tough positions to handle coming out of high school.
No question. He is one of the leaders of this Golden Eagle football team, and he has been right from the start. Let's spend a few moments and get to know, up close and personal, Golden Eagle senior center Cameron Tom.
What made me want to be a Golden Eagle is just like the family atmosphere. When I came on the visit, it was a lot of fun, and just the family atmosphere that the coaches instilled, and it was really just kind of that feeling I had when I first came here. When I first got here, I played, like you said, I played a little tackle. Then I moved to center. So Coach Meadows was the first one to suggest it to me. Actually, I kind of after my first year, I kind of wanted to play center, and then I had to. So it was kind of one of the things I wanted to do, kind of one of those things. So it was really Coach Meadows kind of led me in the idea of playing center, and gave me the opportunity to do it. What would surprise people would be the amount of film we have to watch, because a lot of teams, they like to put in different guys, so you got to really study those people, and as well a lot of defenses change up what they do. They're no longer just 4 down and 3 down. They go 4 down one snap and 3 down next snap and blitz from that. So you just got to know what to expect every week. People who influenced me is definitely my dad. He's from Nigeria, so he had to work. He had to work hard to get out of there, and ended up getting his PhD. So he's kind of really had that work ethic that he instilled in me. To be successful in football and in education, you have to be, you have to separate both of the two. You can't have them together. You can't have football, getting into your schoolwork, or schoolwork getting into football. You kind of have to separate the two. And when you go out to the football field, it's just football. When you go in the classroom, it's just the classroom. So kind of just separate them and do one at a time. What I enjoy about football is the chess match that goes into it. Kind of defensive linemen have their moves, and then you have to protect. So that's one of the things. That's one of the chess matches that goes into it, and then the game plan and all that. Just looking at defenses and seeing what they're gonna do, our little tendencies. To continue my football career mean a lot to me, because just all the work that I put in for the past decade or so. Really just coming together and getting an opportunity to showcase it on a professional level. So I'm graduating in May of 2017 with a finance degree, and after football, I kind of want to go into that like banking and finance department. You know, just kind of work with numbers. I'm good with numbers, so that would be, you know, my main goal after football.
It's another at the 20, 15, gets a block, cuts back in, touchdown. His body got a foot down for a Golden Eagle touchdown. Mike goes up. Short a slant, Trent Taylor, but he's going to be brought down for a loss.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift, we've got you. Guitar, coming tomorrow. Road game today, surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Guitar, reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party, relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! What a big catch! What a big catch! What a big catch!
Growing up about an hour north of here in Taylorsville, you always heard about the tradition here at Southern Miss with the great players. You know, your Chris Buckhalter, Medalius Thomas, Sherrod Gideon, Todd Pinkston. I mean, you idolized some of those guys growing up and playing youth football. So the tradition here, not only the athletic side of things, but the academic side of things also, is a place where you can see yourself growing and, you know, hopefully one day saying, hey, I want to be a Golden Eagle. You know, Coach Hopson, he's well known, not only in this state, but across the Southeast region, and working for a guy like that, you know, that's something that you want to do because he's not my boss the way I look at it. You know, he's a guy that's more of a leader to me, and that's what you want to work for, guys like that. And I think, you know, my avenues from recruiting and just being around the state, just everybody knowing me and me knowing a lot of the local high school and junior college coaches, I just think my name came about, and it was just very fortunate, very blessed opportunity to be here and working for a guy like Coach Hopson again, you know, so just very fortunate. I think guys like Shannon White, Marcus Boyles, my high school coaches during that era, I mean, those guys just believing in me when, you know, other people probably didn't believe in certain aspects of what you were doing, and seeing those guys, you didn't know it at that time, but years later you say, hey, that's what I want to do. I want to impact young men's life like those guys impacted my life. And I think that had a big play on me getting into the coaching profession. Starting off in college, you know, I was a criminal justice major, but, you know, going back and just seeing that, hey, youth in this society needs more men to help them, you know, achieve their ultimate goals, and that's to become a man at the end of the day. So I think guys like Marcus Boyles and Shannon White, you know, had a big influence on that. Well, I think the coaching profession within itself it's a great profession. Now, it can get rough at times, which we all know, but I think it's a great profession. And my philosophy is from day one, I'd rather be more significant than be successful any day. I think you can take the local Walmart manager, you know, he or she, they're successful, but being significant, you know, basically, hey, you're making a positive difference in a young man's life every day. Now, I know we can't affect every individual that we come in contact with, but I just think at the end of the day, if you're making a positive effect on that young man or an ample amount of young men, I mean, I think you're being significant at the end of the day, and that's what it's all about, having a lifelong relationship. You know, there's still players that I've coached, you know, even 10 years ago that we're still gonna talk at least once a month. So just having a lifelong relationship, I think that's what the coaching profession is all about. Coaching tight ends has even given me a different perspective of the game. You know, you learn about the nuances of run game, pass protection, routes concepts. You know, I've been a wide receiver coach all my life, so that was easier as an adjustment. But getting in and having guys like Julian Allen, Jay Sean Washington, Taylor Marino, which he's been injured all season, but those guys have been fun to coach. I mean, they're gonna come to work every day with their hard hats on, just wanting to be like a sponge, just soak up everything. And with our guys, they're not just tight ends, and I think that's what makes those guys have higher energy every day. They know they'll be utilized in the run game and in the passing game, and I think that helps at the end of the day. But those guys, they can do it all. They're versatile, and I think that makes this university and this team much better when those guys are able to do you know, things like pass pro and run out in the route and make some tough catches also, which they've done all season long. I think the tradition here at the University of Southern Miss with the academic side of things and the athletic side of things, I mean, that attracts tons and tons of kids. I mean, you can go back, years ago and up to this date and talk with a lot of coaches, and they gonna have some sort of impact from someone at the University of Southern Miss if they weren't a Southern Miss guy themselves. So I think as a kid, if you're looking at the next 30 to 40 years and not the next, 4 to 5 years of your career, I think this is a great place to be with your tradition that we have. And, with Dr. Bennett, he's being so progressive. I mean, that's the type of place that you want to be at. And Coach Hopson, he preaches it all the time, just fight. That's what a man is. He's going to fight 7 days a week, and that what Coach Hopson not only talks about it on the field, but in life. You just continue to fight. You're going to have to fight for your family. You're going to have to fight for your friends. And if you're doing that right now in this brotherhood, what we have here, I think it carries on for the next 30 or 40 years of your life.
Curly Hallman, I think, aside from my dad, Curly Hallman was a no-nonsense, tough. I mean, he was a tough SOB now, but it was okay. I was kind of used to it. I didn't particularly like it from my dad or from Curly, but getting chewed out was just part of the. My dad prepared me. I don't know if he meant to. And I don't know if I necessarily knew it at the time, but he prepared me for those moments. Like, oh yeah, but you never chewed me out as bad as my dad. Whether I deserved it or not, I just kind of accepted it. But Curly was one of those guys that he just, he brought the best out of you, even though you didn't really know it at the time. Of course, we talked about Coach Bauer, and I mentioned Coach Allison in my speech. Just a tremendous coach, full of energy. And then actually one of the guys I didn't mention because of time was June Jones, who was my quarterback coach in Atlanta. He spent so much time with me when he had no reason to. I'd gotten demoted. Jerry didn't like me. There was no signs of me playing at all, so why June Jones would spend any extra time with me, I think it says a lot about the type of guy he was and the type of coach. He made me go out and throw, we called it buckets. He and I would have these contests trying to drop it in the bucket at 40 yards, and we watched extra film together. But the time I spent in Atlanta and the time I spent with June, the learning curve, not only on the field but off the field in Atlanta, was to pay off later on down the road in a lot of ways. You don't realize it at the time, but the relationships that you make, good or bad, along the way, can also shape you. And June's one of those guys that I look back and think fondly of, and believe that I learned a lot from him.
And we're back once again on Southern Miss Sports Today with Coach Jay Hopson, presented by Bank Bancorp South. The Eagles are getting ready for the Marshall Thundering Herd for homecoming on Saturday. We'll talk more about them in just a minute. But Jay, just a minute ago, we had a little bit of a feature on your tight ends coach, Desmond Lindsay, who's done a wonderful job kind of coaching and leading from his tight end coach position. Talk about him. What's your relationship with him, how you found him, and how he wound up at Southern Miss?
Des is a guy that when I was looking for a tight end coach, I kept hearing his name, and certainly knowing a lot of coaches in Mississippi and around, especially in South Mississippi, just kept hearing the name over and over. So I gave him a call. He was actually the assistant head coach and receiver coach at West Georgia, and just a guy that once I met him, just kind of fell in love with. And he's a guy that is an extremely hard worker. Does a great job coaching our tight ends, recruiting, a very personable guy, but he's a guy that is very diligent in what he does. And so it was a guy that, like I said, I instantly kind of fell in love with him, and he came in here and just hit the ground running. He's done a tremendous job.
And he's got some connections around the state of Mississippi. I think he played at Taylorsville. He's coached down the road at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. So that's important from a recruiting standpoint. He's made those contacts and knows people.
No question. I think that's always an important thing. That was one thing we were kind of looking for. And he came in and just he's a guy that, again, does an excellent job on the field and on the recruiting trail.
Marshall Thundering Herd on Saturday night, as we talked about earlier, for homecoming. Let's talk real quick about the Golden Eagle offensively. Everybody's healthy. Nick Mullins, of course, had a little problem with that thumb, but it looks like you're healthy. That's one of the advantages of an open date like last week. Where's the offense got to play better, though, here as they face Marshall on Saturday?
Well, we've done a lot of good things offensively. We have, and we just, our biggest thing is just do what we do. You know what I'm saying? And certainly, hold on to the football. That's one big thing is win that turnover battle. And I think that's an offense and a defensive thing, but certainly something that we have to do. But we've done a great job. Nick certainly leads us, and he sets the table for us. I think. Ito's a guy that's had a tremendous year in rushing, and we got to just continue doing what we do and executing at a high level.
On the defensive side of the football, for the most part, have played pretty well. Some big plays here and there have hurt you, but got to be pretty pleased at the performance you're getting from guys on the defensive side.
Yeah, I think it's. I think of course, I'm not a guy that looks at statistics. I just don't kind of believe in them. But the reality is offensively and defensively, statistically, we're doing pretty well. But the reality is. Just hold on to those balls, don't give up big plays, do some of those fundamental things right. And those are the things that we got to concentrate on. And certainly, that everything else take care of itself after that.
Hop, thanks for the visit. We'll see you on Saturday and see you next week.
Thanks, Coxie. Appreciate
Golden
it.
Eagles and the Marshall Thundering Herd homecoming on the campus this Saturday, Southern Miss and the Thundering Herd. Love to see you there, and love to see you on Monday nights. Monday nights we're at Georgia Blue in Hattiesburg for the Golden Eagle Hotline with Coach Jay Hopson. So come on by, visit with us, and we'll talk a little Golden Eagle football. That'll do it. Have a great week, everybody. See you on homecoming, and see you next week with another inside look into Golden Eagle football.